Welcome back to JUCO Jam. This is season 3, episode 1. I'm Nick Nielsen. With me, as always, the great one. Nobody knows more about junior college basketball than one, Brandon Goble. Brandon, thanks so much for being here.
We did it. They let us come back
I
for
can't
another
believe it.
year.
I
We
can't
fooled
believe
them
it.
all.
We keep winning. We keep
We keep winning.
winning. And
Fun, coach.
this is day 11 of the junior college basketball season. And boy, the first 10 days have gone by really quickly. We've had so much great action, heavyweight on heavyweight. And we got 10 great games to talk about coming up this week. So, without further ado, let's get into the rewind and let's talk about maybe the best event that we've had in junior college basketball outside of Hutch in years. And this is the Battle of the Boot at CSI, Twin Falls, Idaho, sponsored by the J Foundation. And the J Foundation is about suicide prevention, awareness, great cause. They're doing great things at the J Foundation. But CSI brought together 6 great teams from throughout the country, as well as a group of CSI legends in this 8 team true tournament format. CSI, Eastern Florida, Western Wyoming, Monroe, Casper, North Idaho, and Hayden Sowers, South Plains Texans. Just holistically talk about the event and how cool it was to start the season with this big 8 team mega event.
Well, first off, there was unfortunately a team that couldn't make it kind of late. So CSI put together the CSI Legends team, which featured the athletic director playing the wing, which was awesome.
I can't believe that the athletic director did not make the all tournament team.
Look,
I thought
I
for
just feel
sure he
like he
was a
had an
shoe
inside
in.
line,
Yeah.
just had an inside line. But yeah, what incredible tournament. You and I watched the whole thing. Our good friend Cody Hopkins was on the ground up there, and so we're all group chat texting the whole time through it. So we had some fun with that. But like just a great tournament to start the thing off. And honestly, these are the kinds of things that if we can get more of these kind of going throughout the country, it's just good for junior college basketball. It really provides a platform for a lot of things, right? It provides a platform for the teams to get seen early on, not only for fans to really tune in and have some great stuff to watch early on. It's great for coaches too that are doing the recruiting and things that they get to see a lot of things all at once, whether they're able to go in person. Coach Campy from Oakland went up there. Jeff Smith from Oakland drug him up to Idaho, and he said, his first time in Twin Falls and bringing him on the road. Campy now has been to Hutch for the first time last year, and now went to the Battle of the Boot. So, if that tells you how he feels about where junior college is headed. So, just
Junior college basketball players have been very, very good for him.
yes, they have. Yes, they have, and they're
And
they're
he
going to continue.
specializes in left-handed junior college basketball players. We got DQ Cole there right now, who's at a Division II in Michigan, and then you had Jalen Moore there, who was another lefty from
Pretty
almost
good
Central.
player. Pretty good.
Yeah, and they've had a plethora of them. So yeah, Coach Campy digging into JUCO as you should. If you're not a Power 5 guy, you should be living and breathing junior college basketball on the daily. So bringing it back to the event, our semifinals, Brandon.
Yep.
Semis. CSI Eastern Florida, Monroe South Plains. This could have been the Hutch Final Four. I mean,
Yeah.
fantastic Slade Final Four. Our finals game was Eastern Florida versus South Plains. South Plains with a good win late. Eastern Florida looks every bit of the part of a top 10 national team, the all tournament team. The MVP was Isaac Taveras from South Plains. In the semifinal, he put up an incredible 25 point, 21 rebound game versus Monroe, Arterio Morris from South Plains. Uh, Now, I will say this next name. You might have to help me out here, Brandon, because the tournament was played to the sound of silence. There was no audio. And so I'm guessing here. Freddie Salam Silla from Eastern
Sure.
Florida.
Yeah.
What I can tell you, he's number 21, and he's
Yes.
really, really good. Von Weems from North Idaho, who was majestic the entire week. If you love lefties, Coach Campy loves
Coach
lefties.
Kemp, he loves lefties, and he saw him in person.
That could be an arranged sort of thing there. It happened in
There's a
Idaho.
pipeline.
Eric Mejia from Monroe, and then Isaac Hawkins, who might be the most improved big guy in the country, signed early with Utah Valley, who I would bet heavy on Isaac Hawkins having a great career at Utah Valley. Closing thoughts, all tournament team, the championship game. Any final thoughts on what happened in Twin Falls?
It was interesting. Tavares, by far and away the MVP of the tournament because South Plains actually did struggle from the floor a little bit, and Tavares just kind of kept coming there and saying, "Hey, I'm putting the team on my back, and we're going to get this thing done." Also, want to shout out Didier Malang in that championship game, 18 good minutes, 6-5, 2-2, and 2. Was just kind of everywhere getting things done. He's an awesome kid. He's got a heck of a story.
Had a
Uh,
nice little late right-handed jump hook with the game really close in the final minutes.
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
bucket.
just one of those kids that deserves good things to happen to him, and so it was good to see him in that championship game have a good one. But just throughout the whole tournament, there was just some really high level basketball being played. So it was a lot of fun to watch. Like I said, I hope we can see more of these. I hope this actually becomes a little bit of a blueprint for some regions to maybe try and put some things on like this. One of the players that wasn't on the all tournament team, a bit of an odd situation. Abdul Bashir had an unbelievable 2 games for Casper. They would have played Western Wyoming in that third game. Both coaches, Souza and Tom Parks, decided not to play that game because they do play each other in the region, obviously. And so Abdul had 45, I believe, in a big win against North Idaho. It was like 105 to 100, but it wasn't just like a 30 shot 45. It was a very efficient 45 points too. So it was good to see him. He kind of struggled a little bit in the fall, kind of trying to find himself, but played really well in that game. So um,
But let's be real, he struggled a lot.
he struggled a lot in the
He had a
fall.
lot of hype. I don't
Yeah,
know. Probably some of it unfair. A lot of pressure that probably got unfairly put on him. And he didn't look really good in a lot of these major events, but he was back. And I
yeah,
thought more comfortable handling the ball too. Like people are going to talk about the points,
right.
but I thought he looked much more comfortable facilitating, bringing the ball up the court. To me, I thought that was his biggest improvement. And we all know that he can shoot the basketball, right? He can really catch
Really,
and shoot.
really shoot the ball.
And in
Yeah.
a world where there's not a lot of shooters, guys like him stand out, and I would expect his stock to soar throughout the season. So without further ado, let's transition to the rundown. We're going to talk about this week's games. I'd like to say that we don't make the rules, but we kind of do. We're going to talk about the top 10 games this week. We're going to start with Wednesday. Gulf Coast at Albany Tech. Gulf Coast, first year coach, Coach Lane, 3-0. Could they be ranked when the polls come out? I don't know. Maybe.
But
Maybe.
but why could they be possibly ranked, uh, Mr. Nielsen?
Well,
Because there's only 9 teams left in the top 25 that haven't lost. I mean, it just there's
welcome
just
to the
bodies
Hunger Games.
everywhere. This was the
Yeah.
end of Reservoir Dogs. There's just bodies everywhere, and it's sheer chaos out there right
And,
now.
and so Enterprise State, East Central, Copiah, Lincoln, 3-0 against three Division One opponents. Why not Gulf Coast? That's what I'm saying. Coach Lane's really good. Assistant under, Coach Donnie Tyndall at Chipola. Lane is a JUCO guy through and through, played at Three Rivers. He's another one of these young. We've had so many coaches go on from JUCO to the Division One level, and now I think we're going to see this next wave of kind of these hot new young coaches. Um, I think Gulf Coast will be better than people think this year. So we got Gulf Coast, Albany Tech, Walters State at Roane State. I know one of the kids that you had in your JA 48 event, Walter Campbell. Um, to me, his stock has risen the most from in the first 10 days of the season.
Been
I've been
very good.
blown away by his development from year one to year two. So just any thoughts general on Wednesday? Anything from Coach Lane to Walter Campbell?
Well, Walter Campbell is definitely a Division 1 player, but honestly, he could probably go play for the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow as well when you look at him. That
But
is a
that's what makes him ready to play at the Division One level, though, right?
100%.
Like Jeff Nwankwo, right? He looks the part. He's not going to get beat down like so many of these kids who have trouble making the transition because they're not physically strong enough to take the beating that is the NCAA Division One
We even
basketball.
talked about Michael Osabansu from Vincennes, who's now at Missouri State and playing. And everybody's saying, well, he's undersized. Like, Yeah, but he's a bowling ball. Like he is physically ready right off the rip to be able to compete at that level. And Walter Campbell is one of those types of players as
And
well.
sometimes those really strong guys, they struggle a little bit at JUCO just because they're so much stronger than everybody else. And another name that I think of in the same light is Big Bear Cherry.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Right? Like at New Mexico, there were times last year where he kind of looked out of sync. Maybe they played a little too fast, or he was being guarded by a kid who was 6'4" and 60 pounds lighter than him. Now you put him in a situation with playing against guys of comparable size, skill set. Now he really stands out to me. And I think he's missed one shot in 2 games at UNLV.
What did he have?
So I
23 and 11 his first game or something? Like,
and that's another guy, bowling ball type body, like a Robert Whaley, same type of thing at UNLV, been very good, but I think he has the bare necessities to do really well.
heyo, see what you did
Oh, yeah.
there.
All right. Moving on to Friday, some amazing matchups. We have this East-West Challenge in Texas being played at Collin and Plano. Lee versus Odessa, South Plains Panola. And then also on Friday, we have Northwest Florida traveling to Monroe, Coach DeMeo's old stomping grounds, and they'll play Harcum on Friday. So 3 big games there, 6 great teams. Give me some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean Leo Dessa is going to be. Did we say rock fight yet this year? I don't think so. It's going to be a rock fight. One of our favorite phrases from last year. And anytime there's an Odessa game, it's we're talking about the rock fight, right? But Northwest Florida, Harcum should be a lot of fun. Harcum has not quite figured out who they are yet. They go out
It was
and
the best of times. It was the worst of
yeah,
times.
I mean, a absolute head scratcher of a team. John Ball does a phenomenal job out there. He'll get them figured out. Coach DeMeo hoping that the Harcum versus Slick team doesn't show up. But Northwest Florida, super talented, very very well coached. Have some holes that they're trying to kind of figure out early on here.
I'm a
But
big Josh Hayes fan. I'm going to put it out there. I like Josh Hayes. Coach DeMeo, can we get Josh Hayes more minutes? Every time I watched him play, he did great things.
we'll put in a request. We'll see what happens. I don't know what to tell you.
Let's run it.
Uh,
Let's run it through HR. Let's get him on the court.
yeah,
Um,
that South Plains Panola game of the week. I mean, that's two teams that are
so
playing
we,
fantastic.
we talked about Mr. Tavares at South Plains already. The big athletic wing, everything you'd want in a JUCO wing. But Panola and El St. Bernard, as we said so many times last year, he's got that dog in him.
You got that
Signed
dog.
with signed with Indiana State, one of our favorite players in the country. I don't know if it's going to work out where they're going to get to guard each other. I hope they do. I want to see it.
We'll put
But
in a request. It's all we can do.
all right, you say something to Hayden. I'll say something to Coach Joe. Let's see if we can make this happen. I know it's not a one-on-one game, but it's what the people want.
It's true.
It's
It's
what
a
the
true story.
people want. So, but you're right. A great game. Saturday, the fun doesn't stop here, Brandon. It
No,
doesn't stop.
no, it doesn't
And
ever.
we're gonna continue the Panola thread. Howard Panola. Howard has one of the best point guards in the country, maybe the best point guard in the country, who may have had the greatest jamboree hype of any point guard in junior college basketball history. Touch on Howard Panola. We know Coach Cooper, friend of the show, does a great job with the
Yeah.
Hawks.
Yeah, Kezia Kesey was unbelievable during the fall jamboree schedule. Has not translated that yet to playing during the regular season. Just it's been interesting kind of watching him just trying to figure out, the pace of things and the physicality and stuff. Kesey came over from France where he played in the U21 league over there, which for my money is the best pro amateur league in the world. And so he's got the pedigree for it, and we've seen it in person. Now it's just kind of trying to put those things together. I have no doubt that he'll find his footing. But getting to square up with Panola, they're going to be ready. And so if you're trying to find yourself, doing it against Panola is a tough way to do it. But we have a lot of confidence in how good he is. So this is another just like phenomenal premier matchup. I love this East-West challenge. And again, some good ideas, getting some great games early on during non-conference play. In junior college, you have to be a little creative, right? Because of travel things, money things, distance things, all that sort of stuff. to get these good games. And so shout out these teams that and the people that put on these events that kind of just try and figure it out so that you
And
can
let's
get
be real, the only reason this is happening is because of the NJCAA selection committee
yeah,
taking a hard stand that your schedule matters
yes, yep,
and you can't prep
and good,
JV
good on them. Yeah,
to an at-large selection. This is all from the top of the NJCAA setting really high standards. And there are teams who have raised their hand and say, yes, we want to be part of this at-large selection process. And there's teams who've also said, we're out.
yeah, and look, I
Thanks.
understand that
Either
there
way,
are
it's
some
okay.
teams that just can't for whatever reason, whether it's financial things or, whatever. I understand that and I sympathize with that, but unfortunately, like it is what it is.
Yeah.
The
You can't penalize other people for doing what they
no.
have to.
No, and for the NJCAA to continue its growth and I think honestly, right now junior college basketball has as much parity as it's had maybe since than since I've been doing this. Um, but I think talent wise, it's as strong as it's been. Outside of that little 1% up at the top, we talk about the 90s where there were 30 high major guys and whatever. It's not like that anymore, but there's maybe better of that mid-major talent than since I've been doing this as well. And so, for that growth to continue, like this is the kind of stuff that helps the product, helps the kids in the long run, helps the schools, helps the league and everything. Because when you have these really good games early on, and it's not a bunch of preps and JVs and all that sort of stuff, it just strengthens everything and helps everyone.
Now, I'm going to give you four games here. Pretend it's like YouTube TV. You got the four squares. Tell me
Yeah.
where you're going here. We got Northwest Florida at Monroe, the Steve DeMayo Bowl, Logan at Triton, kind of the John Clancy Championship, NEO at Coffeyville, and then Indian Hills at CSI, two of the Blue Bloods. Where do you go there if you got that on the four screen?
I mean, first off, we're going 4 box. Let's be real.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
each of these teams has a ton of talent, has the ability. I don't think there's any one of those teams that we look at and say, "Hey, that can't be a top 20 squad." Um, but each of them have, some holes and have some things that they're still trying to figure out. And so, I'm really excited to see this Indian Hills CSI game. Indian Hills with the one loss against Butler this year, who's undefeated and playing great. Just a real,
Will Casey, right? One of the most improved players in the
yeah,
country, right? Making a huge leap from freshman to sophomore season.
yeah, yeah. When you got a 6'9" wing running around out there just trying to tomahawk on everybody, like that's a lot of fun to watch. But just some really good basketball there. And then of course Neo in Coffeyville, Jeremy Jackson and Coach Herc, two of the best coaches in the country. And some, I mean, just again loaded top to bottom with talent. Really excited to keep watching Buddy Hammer. You and I, one of our favorite players in the
I
country.
love Hammer Time.
Who's yeah, there's no time that it's not Hammer Time if we're being real. But just a phenomenal human being, great kid, great player, having a great season, and just excited to see him out there. So,
Looks like
uh,
Napoleon Dynamite, dunks like Tom Chambers. You know, I mean
exactly.
that's the comp. That's the full
That's
scouting
the
report.
full scouting report.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with any of these games. And of course, Triton, runner up in the national championship last year, squaring off against a former national champion. Just high level basketball all over the place, man.
Going to be a great week. Those are the 10 games that we chose as the top 10 games of this week. That concludes the rundown. When we return, we're going to have Coach Eric Nitsche with Butler, one of the hottest coaches in junior college basketball. Stay with us after this break.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. With me, as always, is Brandon Goble, but we have a special guest with us today in the spotlight, head coach Eric Nitsche from the Butler Grizzlies, the hottest coach in junior college basketball. Coach, thanks so much for joining us today.
Smoking hot.
Very happy to be here with you guys. Been a big fan. Known you all definitely for a few years now, and been tuning in and appreciate everything you all do for the NJCAA and specifically JUCO basketball.
Man, it's a labor of love. We love it, and we love Butler basketball. We were excited to see what you were going to do. First year head coach, you've been a part of winning at the highest level in JUCO basketball with Cali and then with Hutch. All you know is getting to the national tournament, playing in national championship games. 5-0 to start the season. You haven't played a home game yet. You've picked up huge wins in Tropical Ottumwa, beating Indian Hills. A big win this week versus NEO. So 5-0 to start the season. Checked out the schedule. You got a really easy schedule. 30 JUCO games, 29 Division I games, only one Division II, no preps, JVs. Just talk a little bit about putting together the schedule. I know it's not the easiest thing because you had to go out and play road games to do that, but what's the thought process and what is the end goal in mind here?
Yeah, I think that's something we've been asked a lot lately. I think because it's how it all transpired the last 9 days. We just like you just said. I mean, some of my worst, I don't want to say worst, but so some of my not so fun days as an assistant all those years, and it's probably been 7, 8 years since we did play a JV. Was we would beat somebody by 50, and my former boss coach decided it was the worst time afterwards. It was just kind of a lose-lose, and that was before we got to be pretty good. So I just think you keep it as, hey, you got 6 games to schedule as a Kansas JUCO coach, and here within a week it's going to be every Wednesday, Saturday. So why not take those 6 games and try to simulate some type of February, March feel as much as you can. And hey, if it's not one of those years and you're still playing the best of the best, I think in recruiting, all you tell these kids is you're coming to Butler, you're coming to wherever to play the very best. And then as a head coach, it's on you to fulfill that. It just worked out. Ideally we'd rather be in the power plant at least once there, but when I got here, it was a little different schedule to where to get the home and home and NEO and Indian Hills were really good, but the win we had at Tonkawa, it'll be interesting how I think they got a good team. They had a guy out. They were going through some things. But getting that on there as opposed to just 2 JVs to play at home, that home and home with NOC Tonkawa, I think I think it just put our guys through quite the gauntlet to start the year.
And we're recording this show on Monday. It's going to be released Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And shortly after this episode releases, you're going to have your first game of the season at the power plant hosting Tonkawa, a great opportunity for the fans in El Dorado to come out and support this really awesome Grizzly team. One of the really cool things I think about being a Butler Grizzly is that everybody is getting a chance to play, right? You have 11 players on your roster that are playing 12 minutes a game or more. You have 8 guys averaging 8.2 points or more per game. So a really balanced roster. Tell me a little bit, you basically had to start at ground zero, as a lot of junior college coaches do. Tell me a little bit about this offseason and putting together this roster and some of the things that you were looking for to kind of put your touch on this Grizzly program.
We were just trying to find first and foremost, I mean, you all know you stay pretty in line with recruiting. It's really changed. When I played 18, 20 years ago, the 90% of your best junior college basketball players had to go junior college, where now there's a plethora of guys available. It was pretty rushed, but we try to do as much due diligence as we can on the character side. Now they do have to be able to play basketball. I think we got a really good group of young men, and there are a lot of freshmen. I mean, they're coming from everywhere. And right now, like I said, I mean, it's super early, but for right now, that they're very bought into the success of the team translating to the success of them as they move on, and we are different than we have been in the past. We got some really good length and size at spots, so every night we can kind of play two different ways depending on who the opponent is.
So I wanted to ask you about two particular freshmen on your team. I was talking with Brandon in our text thread as I feel like Coach Nitsche has a type. Um, and I feel like the one kid on your team who I see and I'm like, man, this is Coach Nitsche's type of guy. Like if he had 10 of these guys, he'd play them all. He'd play five at a time. Devontae Reed, 6'5" out of Syracuse, bouncy, super athletic, has made some amazing dunks so far. Talk a little bit about Devontae and his development in his time in El Dorado.
Yeah, Devontae was one that came to us late there, like a lot of these guys. I mean, a lot of these guys that are in a certain mile radius, you had a pulse on when you were at Hutch, but he's one from obviously a ways away, and his development from August 20th to now, defensively, he's really good. I mean, he's going to continue to get better and better because he has just natural instincts, but offensively, he's one of those guys that comes in and hey, they maybe think they're a guard, but then at this level, they're just like, oh shoot, guys are crawling up in me, and he's really taken to what we do, playing off 2 feet, two hands, 2 feet on everything. He's really comfortable out there on the perimeter, and that enables us to put him in a lot of different spots, and he is a extremely unselfish kid. I mean, he can like he made some really big plays in that Indian Hills game. I think he had 7 or 8, but they were all just monster plays. And right when he draws, the second or third set of eyes, he's making the right pass. So he's really coming along. So we hope he stays down that path.
Yeah, I feel like if we could put together a JUCO Jam slam dunk contest, I'd love to invite Devontae. I hope you guys have a couple of extra rims laying around there just in case. The other kid that I wanted to ask you about is someone who, as a coach, I would have a hard time probably ever taking off the floor because I think it's so cool to watch him play. Is from Lagos in Nigeria, the 7-footer, Emeka Oporum. This guy is just someone who oozes talent. Tell me the story about Emeka and some of the great things that he's doing as a Grizzly.
Emeka, he's far different, but a little bit of the same deal as we call Devontae DJ. Emeka came straight from Nigeria. I mean, we have an incredible administration here in the international office. He just made it through the embassy in the nick of time for us. I mean, you got to be here at a certain time, and man, thank goodness he did because he's one of those guys that can impact a game and not score a point. I mean, that Indian Hills deal, yeah, we were making threes and in the Tonkawa, but he can really wall up at the rim. He defensively, I think at this level and at the highest level is one of the first things they look at with guys that are that long and big. Can they move laterally? Can you put them in ball screen defense? And Emeka can do all that. He's blessed with. I mean, he's got size 19 shoes, but he can move them laterally and up and down. And Brandon knows this, but some guys, wherever they're coming from, there's a curve that could take 6 months. It could take a year. You just don't know where he was. It's been fascinating, and he's not even close to his ceiling, but he's really acclimated himself well here in the States and in El Dorado, and he's a brilliant young man. He's got all A's. He just wants to learn. He's a sponge. He's a phenomenal teammate. I mean, I can't say enough about good things
Coach,
about him.
how much experience I have with that whole world and everything, and like special shout out to that administration and international office and stuff that you have there, because I mean, it is hard to get that stuff done in Nigeria. It's harder than ever.
Yeah,
And for them to have the patience, that's usually the hardest thing is patience, right? Where you
yeah,
say, "No, look, this we need this paperwork and we need that
oh
paperwork and we
yeah,
need whatever." And a lot of times, unfortunately, some of those offices just throw their hands up and say, "Nah, we don't want to deal with this. this is too much. This is whatever. So that's big time for you guys being able to pull that off. Because, my other experience has been those kids come, from Nigeria like that, and they're incredible kids. They're
Yes.
fantastic students. They're great community members. And
Yes.
then when you end up with one that's a heck of a ball player, you got the whole package there.
No question. No doubt about it. Shout out to Miss Miranda. She's our lady here that got it through. So yes.
So I want to, you have this great coaches show, Willie's Sports Bar on 151 North Main, and they might ask you some softer, easier questions than what we're going to put you through. And what, maybe the national audience that doesn't know is the great basketball history at Butler. And actually, my first 2 years that I went to Hutch, 1992, 1993, both of those years, Butler played in the national championship games. And in all my years of going to Hutch, I've never heard the place louder and crazier than the 2 years when Butler was in the Final Four. So I'm looking at your awesome media guide on your website,
Yeah.
and there is about 10 different levels you can be to be a Grizzly backer. It goes all the way up from like a Grizzly Cub all the way to an Emperor. And I want
Yeah.
to know right here
Wait, what's the
today,
top?
the Emperor, not the
Oh,
Penguin,
wow.
but an Emperor, $10,000 or more, you can be an Emperor. Uh, Coach, I know you have this drill that you guys do called this 2 down in 22, which is a down and back in 22 seconds. If we get any sponsorships out there for anybody who wants to be an emperor, will you commit to getting on the line and doing some 2 downs in 22 for anybody who wants to be a Grizzly backer?
Oh, I will be racing to that line for that. I mean, right now, and there's a shout out. I mean, almost everything that the locker room here is incredible. The court, Doc Abraham is his name. He's the annual emperor that his name's on. It seems like everything athletic here. But yes, I would be racing to that baseline to run some 2 downs for that,
So
Nick.
I'm
let's say
spelling a
anybody
JUCO
who
Jam
let's
GoFundMe. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
so let's say anybody who wants to be a purple bear and on up. If you reach out to the Butler administration
Yes.
this week, Coach Nitsche willing to get on the line, do some 2 downs in 22. I know you got a lot of media team there. I'm sure we can get it filmed and put that on Twitter. But
Yeah, yeah.
you're doing a lot of great things. I'm super excited that you're the head coach at Butler. I know you're going to do amazing things. I know that you're going to get Butler back to those Final Fours and national championship games. Now the hard part comes. Brandon has the heavy question, and I know you've probably prepped for this, but Brandon might throw you a curveball.
I've been waiting for this for a long time. Um, this has been missing in my life, your life. I'm sure anybody out here watching. These just hard hitting journalist type questions, right? These
Oh,
are
yeah.
You
this
don't
is
get these on the coaches show.
yeah, you get
Yeah.
this is yeah, they throw you softballs. This is a hard one. Okay. Now, you get that first win,
Hmm.
riding the bus back, and you pull into the parking lot, see the green and red glow. Let's say the pavement's even a little wet, right? So it's
Okay.
kind of it's
Yeah.
kind of sparkling across the parking lot. And you see the Chili's sign and you pull in for your post-game Chili's meal. What are you having?
We've had a lot of experience with that. We family, like I said, just taking back a little bit, all those years at Ark City, if we got a big Saturday win, it was We didn't have much to eat there, so we went down to Ponca City, just south there in Oklahoma, and then we had it at Hutch, and it was always. We go to a lot of Mexican restaurants, and I don't think you can find a better chips and salsa, chips and queso than Chili's. So we're gonna definitely start with that, and then probably be me and my assistants, or me and my wife would split the sampler with those Southwest egg rolls, sliders, and some, honey mustard and ranch with it. And then if the kids are there, we'll probably finish it down with one of those or molten lava cakes with some vanilla
Oh
ice cream.
man. Wow. He might be a new head coach, but like he's not this isn't
Not his
this
first
isn't
time at
like some
Chili's.
rookie in here, right? This
No, we
isn't
love some chilies.
Coach Nitsche has had a lot of victory celebrations at Chili's. That's for sure because everywhere you've been, you've won. You don't know anything else.
right. It's all
Um,
Chili's all the time, baby. Let's go.
Shout out to your wife Hannah, I believe. I met her in,
Yeah.
in Hutch last year. So Coach Hannah doing a good job keeping you
Yeah.
in line,
Yes.
not letting
Yes.
you have
No,
too much of the molten
she's
lava cake.
yep. No, she's incredible. Like we all know behind any head coach, yeah, she is an incredible force for us on the home front.
You like how he said they only get the molten lava cake if the kids are there, which is complete baloney. We all know that. He's eaten two of those things by himself. Let's be real.
Coach talk.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
So,
Coach.
Coach, well,
Coach,
we sincerely
thanks for
appreciate you
joining.
coming on. Good luck the rest of the way. We're super excited for you to get this opportunity, and we talked about it all summer and leading into the fall, and it's been a long time coming, and you're absolutely deserving, and so really excited to watch you the rest of the way, and looking forward to what you got next. So when we come back, we will now dive into the grind.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Coach.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are now going to get into the grind. We're going to talk about a current junior college basketball player. And today we're going to talk about Isaac Finlinson. 6'8", 185 pounds. He's from St. George, Utah, redshirt sophomore from Utah Tech. Through 5 games this season, 21.8 points, 8.2 rebounds per game. I had a Division I coach send me the text message, and I quote, "Is he as good as I think he is?"
The answer
Brandon,
is yes.
yeah. Talk about Isaac.
Yeah, so we texted about who should we select for this, and there's a ton of players that are just playing out of their minds so far this year, but Isaac kind of like stuck out to me as um, I guess like what junior college is all about. As somebody that has had lots of different things. He is a member of the LDS Church, and so he went on a mission after high school. And when you do that, you miss 2 years of playing basketball, right? You don't play at all. You can't play. And so then comes back, goes to Utah Tech. And sometimes it takes guys some time to find themselves again after being gone for 2 years. So it doesn't work out at Utah Tech, and there's junior college opportunity waiting there for him after really not playing now for 3 years. And talk about a guy that has really taken advantage of this opportunity that's there for him. If it weren't for junior college, his career would have been over. And so, we had him at J48 this last summer, and he was okay. Not a standout by any means, but got to spend a little bit of time with him. Phenomenal kid, just about the right stuff. And then all of a sudden, in the fall in the Jamborees, I got to see him and went, "Oh my, somebody's been working."
Click. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he'll tell you flat out, like, when things didn't work out for me at the Division I level, I felt like I was good enough and some other people didn't. And so he's got this chip on his shoulder to really just go out there and prove that he is as good as there might be for that big wing in junior college. I mean, he can shoot the mess out of it. He's rebounding everything. He's playing physical, and all the other things that make him just a great person and great teammate and all that sort of stuff. But really one of those stories that highlights like one of the things that junior college really can provide is just, again, that reset button for somebody to restart their career. And Isaac is taking full advantage of it.
I love that you use the phrase big wing. And as we transition to our next segment, the show, we're going to talk about a former junior college player who's transitioned to Division One basketball. And this is a guy, 6'5", 230 pounds from Zion, Illinois. This is a guy that shockingly you try to get other big time programs' attention. And they said, no, I don't know, not a good
You were
fit.
sitting right there. You were sitting there next to me.
I saw it. I witnessed, and we're like, thumbs up, right? Thumbs up. And they were like, yeah, thumbs down. And we didn't get it. And so the guy that we're going to talk about today is Amar Aguilar, who is a human bucket.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
cannot stop him from scoring. You put him in any program in America, he puts the ball in the hoop. 30 points in 22 minutes versus Sacramento State. He's at Fresno State right now. I think this is a really good fit. If he gets minutes, he gets points.
Yeah, yeah, and this is great for junior college as a whole. We talk about this a little bit. I'm not sure how much like the players really understand that when they go on to the next level, they are now representing junior college, right, as a whole. A player being successful can literally have an impact on whether somebody behind them,
It's the butterfly.
receives an opportunity. Yeah, 100%. Because there are a bunch of coaches that mess this one up that are probably now going to look and say, all right, well, maybe I should not do that again. Who's the next Amar? Now, finding the next Amar is going to be hard to do, but heck of a player, just unbelievable ability to score the basketball with physicality and toughness. He's playing.
Former
He's
football player, right? He played Division One football.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He'll knock your head off. And he's got a flamethrower. So there's a little Jeff Nwankwo there, right? Jeff was a Division One football player, and unfortunately, Jeff suffered a season-ending injury, but was in the starting lineup right before that injury at Oklahoma. And, a little bit of the same thing where it's like, gosh, this guy should really have a lot more recruitment. And, Amar now going out and being successful, his success is going to provide benefits to players behind him because, again, a lot of coaches saw him. They weren't sure, like, what does this really mean? Is this, really impactful? What's Triton? Where's Triton? And then they go out and they're national championship runners up. And he had an unbelievable tournament. And again, you and I are sitting there on the baseline looking around going, And, it was just kind of
It's
funny.
like, what are they watching that we're not watching?
Right. I don't understand what's happening right now. But
He's big, he's strong, he's going to beat you at the rim. If he gets any space at all, he can get his shot off. Like, so many guys are like catch and shoot, need space. He doesn't need space.
Ooh.
He doesn't need time. He's got the quick high release that you think of like from an NBA player. So super excited for Amar. He's going to be a great one to follow all season. I'm sure we'll come back and talk about him more. When we come back, we're going to have our closing thoughts. We call it the sixth man. Stay with us. When we return, sixth man.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We're going to talk about our closing thoughts from our first 10 days of the season or so. Brandon, today, what is your sixth man?
Well, earlier we talked about the success of players, with Amar having uh, the ability to essentially help current junior college players, right? If Amar is good, that's going to cause other people to look at junior college. And so I have to, in the very first show, talk about the current former junior college superstar, Dalton Connect. Um, you know, Popular name on this show over the years, and it will continue to be because Dalton, really epitomizes what junior college is about. He was not recruited out of high school. He was a little guy until late, and finally hit that growth spurt. Coach Trinkle goes and scoops him up after really kind of one event. As I've kind of talked to people and stuff because I wasn't really aware of him out of high school. There really was just kind of one game that he just kind of blew up, and all of a sudden he had 3 or 4 junior college offers, but nothing before that. Goes to Northeastern, has an incredible career. Goes to Northern Colorado, has an incredible career. Finishes his last year at Tennessee, wins SEC Player of the Year, and honestly should have been drafted a lot higher, but maybe better for him in the long run. He's getting the opportunity to play a lot, but definitely better for junior college that Dalton Connect is on not only the highest stage, but he's playing with LeBron every night. He's playing with the Lakers, and he doesn't look like a rookie out there. He doesn't have this starry-eyed gaze that he just doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, the guy had 20 points in a row in a preseason game where they were playing their starters, and finished with 35 that night. It's just been an unbelievable thing to watch. And Jonathan Mogbo is doing a great job, who also was drafted for the Raptors. And so guys like that having success and people recognizing that those are former junior college players draws all that positive attention to junior college as this space continues to grow. And I think there's going to be a lot more attention, a lot more growth in junior college, especially with where things are going at the Division I level, which is a conversation for an entire other show. But him going out there, being who he is as a person, who he is as a player, is just definitely providing huge benefits to everybody that's in junior college now.
Speaking of Dalton Connect opening doors, maybe the next Dalton Connect, I don't know. I want to talk to you about a young man I call JUCO Doncic. Brandon, we watch a lot of junior college basketball. I don't think I've ever watched Southwest Christian play. I had to do a Google search. I understand it's 32 miles east of Dallas. Young man Carson Brown just doing work in the Jayhawk Conference this weekend in the sports arena. 36 points, 5 steals Friday night against Hutchinson, just giving them all kinds of the business. 18 points, 5 boards versus Barton. Coach Combs throwing everything at him. I think he was 10 for 10 free throws that game. If there's a JUCO Jam free throw contest, we got to get JUCO Doncic in it. But Carson Brown, number 10 on Southwest Christian, number 1 in your hearts. I'm really excited to follow him this year and just open up my eyes to some different areas of East Texas basketball.
I think you could line up Carson and get Aminas Elisis, who actually looks like Luka Doncic as well, and then you could have a Doncic off and just see what happens.
I love that. It's a great idea. We got a long season, so maybe we can arrange that, some sort of virtual event. But there's so many really good players throughout the country. But this is a 6'8" kid who was an NAIA transfer, comes into junior college to kind of sometimes maybe take a step back to go a step forward to ultimately a year of junior college to propel you to a Division I school, which ultimately like Dalton did. So it's just really exciting to see these kids come in that maybe you don't know a lot about, who aren't on some of these preseason All-American lists, who just kind of blow up and come out of nowhere. So I know we enjoy this. We love the game, but hope everybody has a terrific junior college basketball week. Hopefully we've identified 10 must-watch games for you. Put those on your calendar, and look forward to doing this with you again next week, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then.
All right, take care, guys. Have a great sports week.